Hey guys, welcome back to another Algebra 1 lesson. We're going to look at writing equations in standard form. I'm going to be really brief with this because this isn't something that's real complicated, I don't think. But what is standard form? Standard form takes on the form ax plus by equals c. And in standard form, the coefficient of x, this a value, has to be greater than or equal to 0. So we don't want it to be a negative number. We don't want it really to be a fraction. We like for it to be a whole number. And so there's things that we have to do to make this happen. There's no obvious information either when we just look at the equation. When we have slope-intercept form, we know the slope, we know the y-intercept. When we have point-slope form, we know the coordinates of a point, we know the slope. Standard form doesn't really tell us a whole lot, so I don't use it very often, but I still wanted to go over it with you so that you are familiar with what it is and how to convert things into standard form. So in this first example that we have here, what we're going to do is begin by distributing. We want to get it into standard form. So basically, we can begin by putting it in slope-intercept form. That would be a good place to start. So we have negative 2/5 x. Negative 2/5 times 3 is a negative 6/5, right? And then equals y minus 1. So this is beautiful. Beautiful thing, beautiful thing. So we're going to keep on moving along here. I want to get rid of the fraction. We can go ahead and add 1 to both sides first if we wanted to, or we could see that if we were to multiply everything by 5, that's going to cancel out this denominator in the bottom. So I'm going to do that before I try to start adding things that aren't fractions. We none like to deal with fractions, right? Everybody hates fractions for the most part, so we're going to eliminate the fractions by multiplying by the fractions denominator. So I end up with 5y minus 5 equals negative 2x minus 6. That's a little bit easier to deal with. And this is called a scalar of this problem that you was just given. So they're scalar because we multiplied it by 5. We scaled it up by a factor of 5. So these equations are the same equation. They're just scalars of each other. So now I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So I have 5y equals negative 2x. If I add 5 to both sides here, I'm going to have negative 1. So then we don't want this x term here. We want it on the other side. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So I end up with 2x plus 5y equals negative 1. Now, there are other ways that we could have done this. You could have done the operations in a different order. We could have maybe moved the 2/5 over to the other side, moved the 1 over, then multiplied everything. There's a bunch of different ways that we could have done this. But looking at this equation, I don't know any immediate information to take it over here and graph it. We could look up here and gather the information. The x coordinate is, this should be x minus whatever the number is, so it must be negative 3. And I've got the y coordinate over here is 1. And my slope is negative 2/5. So if I needed to graph it, I could use this information, but there's nothing that jumps out at this immediately that says, ooh, look at me, I'm important to help you graph. There's nothing there. So again, I wanted to review it with you. This is standard form. You will see things written in standard form, but it's not real helpful by way of graphing things. All right, so next example, we're going to write it through, write the equation in standard form. Well, we know how to take 2 points and find the slope. We know how to write an equation in point-slope form, then given the slope and the points, and we just took point-slope form and converted it into standard form. So probably that would be the best thing to do, right? Let's begin by finding my slope. Remember, slope is what? Hopefully everyone said change in y over change in x. It's the negative y minus the negative 4 over negative 6 minus 8. So I have, if I add 4, I have, 7? 8, 9, 10, 11, yes. Negative 7 over negative 14. Ooh, a negative over negative is going to be a positive. I know that 7 is half of 14, so this is 1/2. So my slope is 1/2. So now pick a point. Doesn't really matter which one. Y minus the y coordinate. I'm going to go with these because 11, I'm looking ahead and thinking, I don't know if I want to deal with that. These are both factors of 2. Anyway, this is just me. You can use whichever one you want. So y plus 4, because minus and negative is a positive, equals 1/2 times x minus 8, x minus the x coordinate. So I can distribute. I end up with 1/2 x minus 4 equals y plus 4. Okay, so we can see that we've got a fraction here again. I personally don't want to deal with that fraction. I would like to eliminate it. So I'm going to multiply everything by 2 to get rid of it, maybe. We could multiply by 4, we could multiply by 8. And actually, before I do that, I could go ahead and combine these if I wanted. It does not matter which way we do it. So I'm going to have 2y plus 8 equals 1/2 times 2 is just 1. So x minus 8. So let's get these 8s together. Minus 8, that's going to be, how about we bring it over here? Let's add 8 to both sides. Add 8. So I have 16 equals the x term, because remember, I want it to be positive. So that's why I chose to leave it there and move this over. So now I've got to get rid of this 2y. How do I get rid of the 2y over here? I subtract it from both sides. So I have minus a 2y. So my answer then is 16 equals x minus 2y. We can rewrite that as x minus 2y equals 16. And I have just wrote my equation in standard form. So again, remember, I don't want the number in front of the x term to be negative. I don't like mine to be fractions. I like to eliminate that fraction, and that's what I did by multiplying by the fractions denominator in both examples. So hope this made sense to everybody. I will be posting some practice problems for you to try. If you have any questions, please make sure to email me and let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you. Have a great day.